What's up, everybody, and welcome back to my TikTok. Now, school has started back up for me, but don't you guys worry. I will not forget about you guys. I will make sure I post my videos every other day, if not every day, okay? Now, I'm just going to jump right in. So this map that you guys see right here on your screen, this is a map of what Atlantis would have looked like with all of her surrounding continents. Now, a couple videos back, I spoke about how Atlantis experienced volcanic convulsions and sunk to the bottom of the ocean, and some parts of her were completely obliterated and scattered around. And don't forget that she also had surrounding islands or continents that surrounded her, and these things shifted, moved apart, drifted away. So keep that in mind. Now, check this passage out. It says, the eldest of the first pair, Atlas, whom Atlantis was named, he made the chief king over all. Atlas' brother, Gederos, and later his name was changed to Eumelus because the Greek were translating it. But nevertheless, he received his portion of Atlantis, which would be Cadiz, Spain. Okay? It goes on to say, since the kings were prolific and the land rich in vegetation, minerals, and elephants, Atlantis in time became a mighty power. The kings and their descendants built the city of Atlantis on the south coast of the continent. The city took the form of a circular metropolis about 15 miles in diameter. Now, the book also goes on to say that they also believed, as did Plato, that the ocean surrounding the known world of Europe, Asia, and Africa was in turn encircled by a great continent. Okay? I mean, they put it right there in these books, you guys. You have to get into these books to get some of this information. Now, I also caught something very interesting. In the first paragraph, they speak about the Carthaginians. And I hope I didn't butcher that name, but the Carthaginians were from an island called the Fortunate Isles. And I believe that was another continent that surrounded Atlantis. Now, who are the Carthaginians and why are they important? It reads that the Carthaginians were the people of ancient Carthage, a powerful Semitic civilization that grew from a Phoenician colony in North Africa. They go on to describe them as the Punic people. If you guys don't remember, a while ago I did a video about Netflix Frankenstein movie where they depicted how Rome, aka Britain, was battling these people, and they call it the Punic Wars. So now we know who's who. That helps us out a lot, get a visual. Now, Plato also goes on to describe the outer continents inhabited by people twice as large and twice as long-lived as those of the known world, meaning Atlantis. One section of this land known as Anastos, no return. But anyway, if you skip down, it goes on to say, once a warlike tribe of giants crossed the ocean to invade the civilized world, but when they got to the land of Hyperboreans and found that the latter had nothing worth stealing, and concluded that it was useless to go further and return. Basically, they was hella mad because they couldn't pillage Hyperborea. Now, remember, you guys, I kept talking about how these experimental people start popping up all over, okay, all over these islands. So I get into that in a later video describing the behaviors of these particular humanoid beings. That's why I'm speaking about this story, because they invaded a civilized world. Now, think about who will be the civilized people. I'll leave that up for you guys to think about. But nevertheless, this is a map of Hyperborea. Now, what kind of place was Hyperborea? I don't know. Let's check it out. Now, Hyperborea is a lost continent that was once located in the North Pole and was divided into 4 countries by 4 major rivers. Now, you guys, don't that sound like the Garden of Eden? You know, being divided by the 4 sacred rivers? aka Atlantis, in my opinion. You guys let me know what you guys think. Now, at Hyperborea, it says at the center of this continent was a whirlpool which divided the four rivers. Okay, now, that sounds a lot like Atlantis, how I've been describing it. It goes on to say that the people of Hyperborea lived to the age of 1,000 and enjoyed lives of complete happiness. That also is another description of Atlantis as well. Now, in this particular article, it says that this was a demonic paradise. And now, this next passage actually blew my mind. And shout out to Big Judah. This is some information that he brought out, but I'm sharing it with you guys because it also relates to the description of Hyperboreans. This passage says, "In like manner, God, in his love of mankind, placed over us the demons, who are a superior race, and they, with great care and pleasure to themselves, have no less us taking care of us and giving us place and reverence and order and justice, never failing, made the tribes of men happy and peaceful." It goes on to say, Atlantis, through civilized Atlantean governors. Now remember, I just spoke about who were the civilized people. The civilized Atlantean governors who, by their wisdom, preserved peace and created a golden age for all the populations under their control. They were the demons, that is, the knowing ones, the civilized. Now, everybody, can you guys explain to me why it's not like that today? I mean, if you guys have any idea, put it in the comment section. I would love to hear your thoughts. I mean, it almost reminds me of the demigods that they speak about. I mean, this is an absolute bombshell. I mean, you mean to tell me that the real meaning of demon is the wise, the civilized one? And this whole time today, we've been saying the absolute opposite. If this is true, no, for real, like, tell me what y'all think in the comment section. So that is how they describe Hyperborea. Now, it goes on to say how Hyperboreans started to divulge in sin, and that's how they became to fall on the sword of the Most High. And, you know, it also speaks about how they are the surviving piece through Atlantis. Okay, it says that Hyperborea, being a shadow of its former glory, is still somewhat thrived through Atlantis, which was claimed by Poseidon, and the surviving piece of land was claimed by Apollo, who banned the worship of Satyagi. I'm not sure what that is, but nevertheless, my point is they had the same fate as Atlantis. Okay, they started to divulge in sin, and the Most High had to clean house. Now, there's also a figure, as I was reading, that they spoke about, and his name would be Abaris or Abaris. Now, Abaris was a Hyperborean, okay? He was a legendary sage, healer, and priest, known to the ancient Greeks as a holy healer teacher. It goes on to say how Abaris traveled the world with an arrow symbolizing Apollo, eating no food, basically fasting. Now, Abaris sounds a lot like Abraham to me, in my opinion. You guys tell me what you think. Abaris, Abraham, and the way they described him, kind of similar. And I also happen to connect this with the continent of Abraxas. Remember, about 5 videos ago, I spoke about Abraxas being a piece of Atlantis. That's without me knowing this knowledge that I have today. That was just me putting the pieces together, and it looks similar to me. Let me know what you think. Could Abraxas have been the former Hyperborean? I don't know. That's another theory too. And what I also thought was interesting was how they describe Abraxas as being a healer, a wanderer. This guy traveled amongst all of the islands of Greece, Africa, teaching and healing people. That's the way Plato described him. similar to how they describe the ancient nomadic people. Now, in my last video, I spoke about masonry and how it was really the practice of knowing nature and being one with the Holy Spirit. Now, remember, you guys, perverted people regained our knowledge in books and perverted it out. So now it's described as evil and boogity woogity woo scary. But really, it was the practice of using natural herbs to cure diseases and as protecting other people, the family. It was nothing bad, anything like that. That's the same way they describe Abaris, the knowledge that he had. And they also describe him as a demigod. Now clock that T. Now, I also discovered something else that was very interesting. In this passage, it says that 61 years after Columbus' discovery, the Spanish historian Francisco Lopez de Gomara, he suggested that Plato's Atlantis and the new continents were one and the same. What were the new continents, you guys? And why do they call it the new continents? Could it be that my theory about Atlantis having an eruption, spreading out the surrounding continents and land masses, sunk and then came up, and then now they're describing it as the new world? Nah, but that ain't all. He goes on to say that the Aztecs had a legend of having migrated from a place called Atlan, plan of reeds, and that ATL was a common syllable in their language, meaning water by itself. Kind of reminds me of everyone's favorite movie, ATL. Now, y'all know this is not a coincidence. This is not a coincidence, you guys. They put it right there in the movies. In my opinion, they are mocking us with this ATL movie now that we have this information. That's also congruent with the Atlantic Ocean. Remember, I told you the Atlantic Ocean was named after Atlas. This is crazy, you guys. Nobody else is bringing this out. Nobody caught this. Hell, I didn't even catch this until I started reading. You guys let me know your thoughts on this. Now, after all this information I just divulged to you guys, I got one question for you. What the hell is Three-Eye Atlas? And I'm out. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Don't forget to like, comment, and share, and I'll catch you in the next video.